Hey guys, I was speaking with a good friend of mine recently about the Black Lives Matter movement, and we both seemed like confused as to why that's still something people need to be reminded of. For those of us who've always believed Black Lives Matter, as they very much do and always have, we find the
Turn right onto Crown Street, then your destination will be on the left.
We find that the slogan and the need to present that idea answers to the reality that Black lives don't matter, meaning that people have seen so much that has occurred in the past few weeks and months and years, and that has been really highlighted in the media more recently, thank God, of complete abuse of and worse, obviously, and death.
Head south on Albany Avenue toward Montgomery Street, then turn left onto Montgomery Street.
Of Black people in our society. And so when we hear the slogan, it's like, of course, how do people not already live that reality that, of course, Black Lives Matter? And so, it's something I've been struggling with for a while, because on one hand, it is so crucial that all people understand that all lives matter, including all races, all colors, all backgrounds, all genders and gender identities, and every human being is created in the image of God. Every human being, every life, whether they're tall, short, black, white, whatever, recently I was telling somebody how, the elite intellectual liberals believe that people should have less children. They think that the earth is overpopulated and that there's scarcity of resources, and that they think the more responsible behavior is to have less children. It's almost like the one-child policy in China, which to me seems like so against human dignity and human freedoms and human rights to choose what to do with your body and life. But anyway, I won't talk about Bill Gates. But there's this idea that there should be less children in the world. And I was telling a friend, I find that really to be a really negative worldview, really. But in any case, I mentioned it to a friend, and my friend was joking, and I don't know if she was actually joking or not, but she does happen to be a stand-up comedian, so she jokes a lot. And she said, no, only stupid people should stop having kids, people who really live horrible lives and teach horrible things to their kids or whatever. I don't remember exactly the way she put it, but a part of me felt that she wasn't quite joking. I hope she was. But, the Jewish outlook on life is that all life matters, period. And we would never say that smart people are the only ones who should be having children. That's like, who judges? Like, is there a test? And then, it's just like, if you think about the ramifications of that, it's horrific. All people should be allowed to have children, regardless of their IQ. I don't even like saying the word stupid. It's just so, unpleasant. I don't want to, use that adjective towards anyone. So, anyway, this concept that, all life matters is really the foundation, I think, of living a God-fearing life. And I say God-fearing really loosely, none of us are afraid, the goal isn't to live in fear, but the idea that there's something higher and more important than me, myself, and I, meaning that, let's say, we have to pay higher taxes to support orphans because for whatever reason their parents are not in their lives. It's our responsibility to take care of them. It's like, okay, fine, it might be annoying to pay those taxes, or it might hinder my goals or what I want to do with that money. However, we have an obligation to preserve and protect all human life. And so, if anything, again, I lament the fact that we even need to remind people that Black Lives Matter. It should be so ingrained in us. And if anything, I do think that the unfortunate reality that we find ourselves in, that, unfortunately not all people feel that or view that, or it's not a natural inclination for segments of our society to value Black lives. I think that what that movement is bringing about, I hope, is an understanding or an awareness of God, of a higher power, of source energy, of, quantum physics, mechanics, calculus, whatever you want to call it, but this higher power that orchestrates the universe, the conductor that has allowed us to exist, that, there's a creation, this thing, right, this world we're in, and then anything that exists must have a maker, right? If you see a house, nobody thinks that it just fell together and the beams just landed in place and now it's a house. Everything we see in this world has a maker, and to think otherwise is one of the basic tenets in Rambam's Principles of Faith that he argues, because he goes through and kind of delineates in that grand opus, and that it's like a philosophical work, but he really explains with such clarity that you can say he proves God's existence, because his arguments are so sound. But in any case, I hope the Black Lives Matter movement brings about a greater understanding that all life matters, that we are not the ones who decide, and there's a higher power.